The following is a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
Welcome to the System is Down.
Hi kids, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to the most fucking fantastic, family-friendly programming on the interwebs. It is, of course, The System is Down, where we talk about all the uncomfortable topics, the things that your family prays you don't bring up around the Thanksgiving dinner table, things like conspiracies, politics, and religion. If you're one of the many people who tune into the show every single Monday morning for your weekly dose of discomfort, welcome back. And if you're one of the many people who this is your first time dipping your toe in The System is Down waters, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you. I appreciate you being here. Go find the person who invited you, give them a big hashtag #MeToo, kiss on the mouth, and a slap on the rear from you and from me, because I love that you're here, and you're going to love being here, because today I am talking to an elderly wizard with a boot on his head who is running for president. Yes, it is my first time interviewing a person, an actual official presidential candidate, and he is my personal favorite presidential candidate of all time. It is, do I even need to say the name? If you're here, you know the name. You know the name and you love the name. It is Vermin Supreme, and we're talking about all the things. This is the place for the weirdness, the free loving weirdness, the humble civil discourse in strangeness. So Vermin Supreme is the perfect interview guest that I've been trying to get since I met him at PorkFest. I met him at PorkFest back in June. I've been trying to get him ever since, but he is a busy, busy man because he is indeed running for president. And we're going to talk about all the things here in just a moment. But before we do, I got to remind you guys about the Downers Club. The Downers Club is our Patreon program that gets you a bunch of bonus audio and video content every single week, extended interviews, game shows, and all sorts of fun, offensive content, including, but not limited to, my extended interview with Mr. Supreme, where it got really fun and dark and creepy and beautiful. Perfect for this show. So if you like the show, if you want to support the show, if you want to help it keep getting bigger and better and more beautiful, go to patreon.com/The System is Down, and you can sign up to support for as little as a cup of coffee. That is $5 per month. You can try it out. There's no contractual obligation, so if you try it, you hate it, you can leave. It's fine. You're only out $5. But all right, let's get into what we're here for, and I will talk to you. I will rant and scream in your face a little bit more after the program, but here's what you're here for. It's my conversation with the great man himself, Vermin Supreme. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get weird. My guest today needs no introduction, but here's a lengthy one. He is a performance artist, satirist, activist, author of I, Pony, Blueprint for a New America, 2020 presidential candidate, and future trustworthy tyrannical dictator of the United States of America, Mr. Vermin Supreme. Vermin, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thanks for having me on your fine and auspicious podcast internet program. Greetings, my fellow Americans and others. As your president, I have promised to engage in hostilities only with those powers that I deem to be a real and immediate danger to our peace-loving nation. And that is why I have ordered the Strategic Space Horse Air Command to begin the bombing of Narnia in 5 minutes. Friends, if we do not fight them in their dimension there, we will have no choice but to fight them here in our dimension. We will not stop until we have destroyed Middle Earth and the last orc is destroyed. In this time of need, we must unite as a nation. I hope you will all pray for our fearsome, flying, unmanned, killer robot pony drones as they rain fire and death upon our subhuman enemy and various innocent wedding parties. May our brave soldiers not be afflicted by carpal tunnel syndrome while conducting these long-distance atrocities or terrible nightmares from the horror they must inflict. Thank you.
Very well said, and I'm glad that you're bringing up some of these very important talk points that all the other presidential candidates seem to be overlooking. I think it's very important.
Clear and present danger, people. Clear and present.
So, Vermin, when you were born, did you come out as an old man with a beard and a baby booty on your head?
Pretty much. I think so. I think if you ask my dank meme stash to produce such photographic evidence, they will provide some for you in a heartbeat. In fact, they have. Yes, absolutely.
Very nice. Do you personally have any magical powers that would help you protect the country from these imminent dangers that you're speaking of?
Yes, I do. I have lots of them. As you know, the boot itself is a very magical boot and has provided me with a magic of its own, allowing me to amplify my free speech First Amendment voice millions upon millions upon millions of times. If I was just a normal guy talking crazy shit on the street corner without a boot on my head, well, where would I be then? But with the boot, people listen.
That's right.
So that's very exciting. Of course, yes, and I do have overarching superpowers. It really depends on what time stream we're in and what dimension we're working from.
Absolutely.
So there's any myriad of various exciting superpowers at my disposal at any given time. Maybe just not right here, right now. Wait, hold on, I got one for you. Invisibility. Whoa, where'd he go? See what I mean?
That is impressive.
And in that short amount of time, I circumnavigated the globe.
What'd you find out?
I was running too fast. I didn't have time to pay attention to anything, really.
Is it flat or is it a globe, in fact, since you just now traversed it?
Well, it's hard to tell. I could have been running around the outside edge.
That's true. What's going on? What's going on there in Antarctica?
It was very wet and cold.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So when the obvious alien invasion happens, would you be willing to be the ambassador for our green new brethren that will be, visiting us at some point in the near future?
Well, hopefully I will be visiting them. The Area 51 project still continues, although it seems like nobody successfully breached the perimeter. I have high hopes that when I am president, I will have total access to clap some alien cheeks. Thank you.
Have you considered
whatever that means? I hear the kids say that. I'm not sure what it means, but
I'm not either.
I thought your audience might enjoy that reference.
They may. Do you have anybody in mind for your presidential or your vice presidential nominee? And would you consider Donald Trump?
I don't think that's a real consideration in this particular time stream, I'm afraid.
What if he switches to pony economics? Would you be willing to give him a chance?
That, I mean, if he went full blown crazy, yeah, sure, why not? But I've my list is short, but it grows and it's expanding. I'm playing it very close to my chest. I mean, in my perfect world, it would be a meme. I've had several memes as my running mates in past years. In 2012, of course, it was Jimmy McMillan, the rent is too damn high guy. And then in 2016, it was Matthew Silva, the peace, love, and farts maniac who you may know from running around in streets and stores in New York wearing his unitards, screaming about love and such radical concepts. And so that type of meme is always a very welcome addition to the ticket.
Sure.
Of course, because I'm seeking the Libertarian National Party's nomination, there are certainly all sorts of other considerations in terms of balancing the ticket and drawing in various factions and caucuses, if you will. And so there is that. So I haven't announced any such, although I do have a fairly short list, and we'll see what happens at the convention, I guess.
Sure.
William Well.
I'm sure he'd love it. He seems like the type. So you recently switched over to libertarianism. You had ran as a Democrat before. What is the reason for your switch?
It all depends on what you mean by recent, I suppose.
Sure.
Essentially, in the past, I had run as a Republican. I had run as a Democrat. And it was essentially me flying a flag of convenience, an attempt to get on the ballot, primarily in New Hampshire. The New Hampshire primary has been my main source of publicity, and if you will, and because it is the first in the nation primary, because it attracts every damn last candidate in the nation, because it attracts, every candidate has their own campaign headquarters. They have their own campaign staff. They have their own campaign bus. They have like campaign events out the wazoo. They're bouncing all the frick around this very little state. The national and international media is all there out in force. And so, of course, part of my winning formula for pumping up my notoriety and visibility has been working that rodeo since at least 1992. Mm-hmm. And, part of it is accessing the various presidential, the real candidates, and asking them very important, albeit absurdist questions, primarily to do with the ponies and the toothbrushing and time travel and the weather and all of these things. And mm-hmm. It's been pretty much of a winning formula, if you will. So there is that. But I'd say it was right, I started interfacing with libertarian activists probably around 2008 during Ron Paul's run. And up in New Hampshire, I was meeting a number of his activists. At that time, I guess they were the original Tea Party. It was before the Tea Party was co-opted and taken over by the Republicans, but they were mm-hmm. wearing the tricorner hats and, all that imagery. And, anybody who's creating a ruckus on the streets is okay by me. And they were doing that. And we had a great time one night. Frank Luntz, the Republican pollster, was conducting a poll with a bunch of people watching the debates, and they were turning knobs and levers depending on whether they liked or didn't like the responses. And this was occurring at this little restaurant up in New Hampshire on Elm Street in Manchester. And all the Tea Party Ron Paul fans and myself found that by banging on the windows, we could cause the needles to jump as we made the people inside jump. And I also discovered that if I pushed my megaphone up against the glass, it would resonate and could carry through solid walls, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so that was in 2008. 2012, of course, was the Occupy the primary, which was a political action. It was sort of one of the last major actions of the Occupy movement. But it was in New Hampshire. Of course, New Hampshire has a pretty vast libertarian population. They have the Free State Project going on up there. They've been trying to get 20,000 people to move up there to affect the political climate. And the nice thing about New Hampshire also, because it's small, a lot of people, most of the activists know each other. And so you have the activists on the left representing Occupy, and then you had the Free State Project representing the libertarians, some perceived to be right. And we would show up together in force to harass all the other presidential candidates. We were screwing with Santorum. We actually shut down a Newt Gingrich event by our sheer numbers, the combined forces of the Free State Libertarians and the Occupy left. Mm-hmm. And, there's no real, conflict between the two groups because they work together. They know each other and in real life. So there's not a lot of this crazy dissension and name calling and all that bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. When you say you got it shut down, I mean, here in 2019, that typically means like shut down because of violent acts or threatening to burn the place down. What did you do that got the event shut down?
Well, essentially, we just surrounded them and had such a raucous time. It was at Newt's campaign headquarters, and he was scheduled to make an appearance and talk to his supporters. But because we had such numbers in the front and we had people in the back alley, no, there was no violence. It was just simply that Newt called it off. His people deemed that it was a security threat. I don't believe there was any intent to do any sort of outrageousness in terms of.
So they probably just saw it more as a waste of time because you're going to be disrupting it so much.
Yes. And at that time, I did my famous chant that went something along the lines of Newt, 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 Newt.
It's catchy.
Yes, it is. I kept that up for hours on my bullhorn. Sometimes, I'm not always clever. Sometimes I'm very juvenile, very obnoxious.
Well, when you've got a name like Newt, I mean, you don't really have to try that hard to make it sound ridiculous.
That's very true. And it was actually the year that I also discovered that by saying the other candidates' names in different ways, you could come off as really weird and creepy. Over my bullhorn, I was whispering like Santorum, or Romney, or when we were out at the RNC this last time, it was like Trump. So, and just by repeating their names with these funny things, we could have a lot of fun. So that was in 2012, and of course I became more and more acquainted with members of the Libertarian community and Free State Project, and the woman that we were staying with, who was our campaign headquarters essentially. She was a member of the Free State Project, and back in the day, I come from a left anarchist perspective.
Sure.
Flat out. I mean, you don't have to go too far back where I'm actually, bad mouthing libertarians, saying they have no soul, for example.
Sure.
And but that was before I discovered they had a soul. It was coming from a place of, prejudice. I was prejudging based on stereotypes. But once I started to meet and know these people and find out that there was compassion and caring within their communities, and a lot of polyamory too. This woman that we were staying with, she had become paralyzed as a result of a thing, and it was the libertarian community that came together and totally got her back on her feet, if you will, and incorporated her into the community and gave her the tools she needed to help herself to be self-sufficient and become a valuable person in the Free State Project. So it was these things that I was seeing that was slowly changing my opinion. In 2016, a couple of people reached out to me, Boomer Shannon out in California, and he he was trying to put together a fundraiser where we were going to raise money for his local chapter and stuff. And that actually eventually came together. And I had an opportunity to meet him. And then I was invited to the International Students for Liberty conference in DC, where I was invited to disrupt the president's opening remarks. And that was a whole lot of fun. And I was just starting to receive so much love from the libertarian community that I felt like I should really check it out. Yeah. And, I started to look at the Libertarian Party platform and the planks. And I was pretty much pleasantly surprised, how much that I had in common with it, how much it reflected my core values. I mean, I've been a nonviolent activist for, my entire adult life. And so, I mean, that just dovetailed into the nap. The fact that they are against wars of foreign intervention. I've been working against wars forever. The reaffirmation of the individual, the rights of the individual and responsibilities of the individual, and their support of the sex workers and their anti-authoritarian stance. And they're essentially being the only political party that is expressly against government. Yeah. And against the police state and against the surveillance state. And they have plank after plank that reaffirms a lot of positions that I believe a lot of people who do not self-identify as libertarians already possess. Yeah. And so all of these things started to come together for me. And in 2016, I showed up at the Libertarian National Convention in Orlando. And I was, once again, it was more of a pretend. I was pretending to run for president. Right. But the reception that I received there was amazing because half the people there loved the fact that I was there, having so much fun and making fun of them and with them, and exploiting and exploring the conventions of what a convention is. And I mean, at one point when William Weld was being nominated, I was walking through the convention hall with a chair held high above my head, and in an almost threatening manner. I was referencing the Bernie Bros chair throwing incident that may or may not have happened, but nobody cared. Nobody, and half the people there really loved it. Half the people there didn't like it. but the half that loved it loved the fact that the other half did not like it.
Exactly.
So there was that tension, I guess. And then libertarian political operatives, if you will, or individuals with real experience in real libertarian campaigns reached out to me. And, Desiree Lindsay, my campaign manager, reached out and wanted to know if I wanted to run for president and if she could help make that happen. And so I was like, what the hell? And so this is ultimately, when you get right down to it, my first actual, real, legitimate political campaign, where it's like I have an actual campaign staff, we have actual campaign goals, we have strategic considerations. So there's a lot more going on. Already, I've raised more money for my campaign than I have in the past. We're registered with the FEC. We have a 527 political organization. The more money that you give me, the more money I can spend. That's right. Vermin Supreme 2020.com. I mean, we can spend it during the primaries up until the end of the primaries, and we can spend it on legitimate campaign expenses. And already we've raised, I think, over $10,000. In the spring, this past spring, I attended over 8 libertarian events, mainly state conventions. And part of our strategy, why am I attending these state conventions? Because my campaign staff told me that that's what one must do if one is serious about running for the nomination.
If you're going to be the overlord, you got to do the paperwork and kiss the babies.
Oh, absolutely. And there was, I had to prove to the people because, amazingly, surprisingly, most people just know me from me being a meme or me being on the internet or the videos that they watch where I'm aggressively humorous and acting a little foolish and crazy to harangue people. I mean, humor is a little bit of a weapon that I've discovered that allows me to be far more aggressive than I ever could in real life without getting in a lot of trouble. So the simple and elegance of the boot and all these things, they've brought me a great deal of notoriety and viral well-being, if you will. But like I say, a lot of people, naysayers, pony haters, if you will, just don't know that there's more. They don't understand that I'm a highly respected political satirist, for example. They just think I'm a crazy people. So I attended these conferences and conventions to show them that the boot was not attached to my head. I would bring the boot, but I would only wear it for selfies and things like that.
Sure.
I had to prove to them that I am not my character. I love my character. I love being my character when I'm in character, but it's not me. And I'm not on all the time. And I'm not disrupting all the time. And I'm a reasonable person with a legitimate offer on the table.
Yeah.
And
that offer is ponies, right?
It is absolutely ponies. And it's a natural extension of my 30-year run for the presidency. It feels very natural. It just makes sense. I've developed this character in this universe of mythologies and in a universe of things. And I've developed an audience, a very wide-reaching cross-section of the American public, from hard left to hard right, because, the initial thing that got me viral, the 2012 debate where I glitter bombed Randall Terry there, it was perceived to be nonpartisan. And so therefore it was thoroughly enjoyed by people across the spectrum. Yeah. And so, this is what I'm bringing to the table as a potential nomination. Now, can people overcome that? There are good arguments, but there are concerns and reservations against. One of the main things that I find is people are concerned, can a serious party put up a candidate perceived to be a joke and not have that stick to them? I believe the answer is yes. I believe it is all in the framing.
Hey, I mean, they did it with Gary Johnson a couple times now, so
Exactly. but I think it could be a lot more explicit. It would be a statement to the effect of, we are the Libertarian Party. We've been in existence since 1972, working for liberty and freedom for all, and we have done this and we have done that, and we are a serious party of ideology and values and all this. However, and it pivots. The current political electoral duopoly system has risen to the level of a joke, and therefore, with love and spite, here's Vermin Supreme, ha ha ha. And so that way, the party and the Libertarian Party would be in on the joke. It would be their joke. I'm not trying to troll the party per se. I'm just offering the opportunity for the party to help the party troll America.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a bold new strategy.
Not that much different than John McAfee and Jed Weiss, what they were doing last go around, where they're just like, we're just gonna be real people and we're gonna be weird and crazy, and if you put us up there, we'll do what we can do with the job, but we know we're not gonna get it anyway. So what difference does it make? Yes,
and I think from where I'm sitting, the gold standard for a Libertarian Party candidate is 5%. That is what will supposedly assure national ballot access for just about everybody.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the current field, my people feel the bubble with which I'm surrounded myself with feels very strongly. They are convinced that out of the bunch, I am the most likely person to be able to pull that off.
Absolutely.
The figures that I throw around, there's 3.9 million high school kids graduate every year. So give me 2 of those years, give me 19 and 20, that's 8 million people. Add that to the 17 million kids in college, that's a pool of 25 million young people. And if I can get 1 out of 4 of those people to vote for me, that equals your 6.5 million, aka 5%. It does certainly not include the millions and millions of disaffected and disillusioned and disgusted people who, if they were given a choice on every ballot in America to vote for Vermin Supreme as a libertarian candidate, very well might just do that. The fact that I appeal to so many Americans. I mean, there are so many subcultures in America, and they all fall under nerd and geek subcultures. I mean, ultimately, when you get right down to it, you got political geeks, you got crypto geeks, you got people who are all about the anime. They're all about Magic the Game. They like the Dungeons and Dragons. Sure. They're fairies. They're kinky sex nerds. They're comic nerds. There's role players. There's roller derby girls. I mean, there's just so many freaky little furries. All these strange little subcultures.
People dressed as ponies.
But yeah, the
those are the people that you definitely get on your side.
For sure. And all these numbers, they add up. There's like there's half a dozen Comic Cons that you can attend, and if you attend those half a dozen, you have the possible outreach of 1 million people. Yeah. I believe that if it becomes this viral push and everybody thinks it's a great idea, and it's a yes, let's put the crazy guy with the boot head up there. Let's make it happen. And I think we could. I am the voice of a new generation. It's not my generation, but it's a new generation, and I'm like the voice for them.
Sure. There were certainly people who voted for Donald Trump just out of saying fuck the system and all this stuff is bullshit, and they're like, this guy will burn it down, and then he gets in there and he does a lot of the same exact stuff. Like, if you voted for Donald Trump because you're against all the political bullshit, like, who wouldn't vote for a Vermin Supreme?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, if I were to be the Libertarian Party standard bearer, and they were doing polls, and people understood that if I were to poll 15% to get on the debate stage with Donald Trump and whoever,
right?
I think all the kids would want to see that. Who wouldn't want to see that? It would be crazy fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, this is Dan's wife, Kayla. I just wanted to interrupt this podcast to let you know that he puts a lot of work into it for currently no monetary profit. And he has a family to feed. To do so, he runs his own media business called Goulash Media. Dan has a crazy creative brain that makes him uniquely able to take your project, whatever it may be, and make it the full package. So whether you're in need of graphic design, logos, branding, commercials, wedding videos, podcast jingles, music production, music videos, merchandise, websites, pictures, or what have you, contact Dan and he'll seriously make you look and sound awesome. For more information, just go to goulashmedia.net. That's goulash, Goulash, media.net, where Dan caters to the little guy with the big vision.
Some people would push back. Obviously, the Libertarian Party, the more button-up types would say, we struggle enough as a political party to be taken seriously. Why would we put a man with a boot on his head up there? What do you say to that?
Well, once again, I think it would just be making a very bold and visionary statement. It's putting the nail in the coffin of the respectability of politics. Respectability of politics barely exists anymore with the current White House occupant. Yeah. I think I'm a pragmatic candidate in the sense that pragmatically, it seems like I might be able to do what I'm claiming that we might be able to do. So the more I talk to the people, the more the people agree. I mean, I don't think I'm going to win over everyone. I don't, but I hope to be able to represent to everyone. I hope I can be, a suitable candidate that all the caucuses can unite behind, especially if I get the nomination. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people. I've met people who were longtime fans of mine, that were longtime libertarians, and they were very concerned when I joined the Libertarian Party because they thought I was going to be some sort of wrecking ball or just screw with them. Yeah. But no, I've met too many beautiful people. I have no ill will towards the Libertarian Party, and I hope that I can do it right. And yes, of course, there are some people who won't be able to make the conceptual leap, but I hope I can do them right. Yeah. I mean, I suppose, I could be a spectacular success, or it could be all a success, a spectacular failure. There are no guarantees. Life's a gamble. And I'm just putting my offer on the table. And naturally, we're trying to stack the delegates also, of course, because that is what one does when one runs for the nomination.
That's right. And speaking of what one does when running for the nomination, you have some very important and crucial talk points that you lean into, and things like pony economics, zombie power, kangaroo courts, mandatory toothbrushing, concentration camps. Do you want to break down some of these things and explain to people what they're getting for with a Vermin Supreme dictator / president?
Well, once again, of course, there has indeed been a slight tear in the time-space continuum, and this has caused some minor interruptions in our current time stream. But I would like to assure you that I have very smart scientists working on a solution in the past, in the present, and the future. Wow. I feel confident we will return to a Supreme presidency any moment now, and I apologize for any inconvenience in the meantime. You are, of course, referencing my 4 basic platform party planks that I've been some might say it's a dead horse that I've been beating for a number of years now. But the beauty of it is that, the things that I have come up with or that I've been promoting, they have a serious resonance and they have a serious life of their own. The mandatory toothbrushing law, for example, it's not about the secret dental police. It's not about the preventative dental detention facilities. Sure. It's not about the dental re-education centers, not about the government-issued toothpaste containing an addictive and harmless substance, not even about the DNA gene splice and created race of winged monkeys to act as tooth fairy enforcers. What this mandatory toothbrushing law is really all about, of course, is strong teeth for a strong America. Now, I've been flogging that one. I mean, it's so weird to, be an activist like many of us have been, who have been warning of the dangers of fascism and the dangers of government clampdown and that's coming our way because it's been so gradual and obvious, and we've been seeing it coming, and it's a little frustrating that actually just rolled right up upon us like this. Right. but I mean, these things, I always thought they were pretty obvious, and I think it's funnier when people think that they take it at face value. But even Ted Cruz got it this last election cycle. If you type in Ted Cruz and Vermin Supreme, you'll see a video where he completely deconstructs the mandatory toothbrushing law for the critique that it is.
Nice.
He during a speech where I demanded his position on it, and he said, I don't support the nanny state, and the federal government shouldn't be involved. And I mean, of course, I mean now they are taking what I've been saying and regurgitate it and deconstruct it and spit it out. It's very weird. I think I'm being co-opted. When I asked Chris Christie this last season, do you support free ponies? He said no. And I started yelling at, calling him a pony hater a little later in the encounter, which you can see if you type in Chris Christie, Vermin Supreme. The video will come right up, where I say, Chris Christie, why do you hate free ponies? And he responded, I don't hate free ponies. You have to earn your pony. So, I mean, sometimes these people come back and recently they've just been really turning my planks inside out. Time travel, of course, the only candidate who is actively promoting time travel and working on that. And, in addition to it be a fantastic boondoggle for the defense industry, I want to go back and kill baby Hitler. Of course, that's what I said. And
now, real quick, I've heard you say that you want to go back and kill baby Hitler, but I've heard the question posed. Is the person who goes back and kills baby Hitler, like if the Jews made a time machine and go back and kill Hitler, is it the Jews' fault that they're attacking baby Hitler and then he grows up to be a Jew hater because these Jews are attacking him as a baby? Like, where does that spiral lead to? Are you responsible for Hitler because you attacked him?
Probably. I will say that I did kill several of his siblings, though. I mean, I went back in time, and I didn't even know he had brothers and sisters. I guess I should have done a little more research.
Just killing every baby with a Hitler stash, right?
Yeah, it was my bad. The timing was a little bit off. He might not have been born, but I don't know. What can you do? You can only do your best. Of course, zombie power is a very important plank of the new Green Deal, or the old Green Deal. It's my old Green Deal. I mean, I can't help it if the Democrats tried to fucking rip that shit off. Harnessing the awesome power of zombies, giant hamster wheels. I don't know. It's all good, but the people seem to really love it. I mean, and I think that's one of the beauties of my campaign is that it allows grown-ups to pretend.
Yeah.
And play along with it. And when I'm asking about, what are they going to name their ponies or what color pony do they want? They really give it some thought.
Right.
Now, of course, many people ask me, Vermin, is it true that we are going to be using ponies for actual currency? And I say, of course not. That would be absolutely ridiculous until we can make them really small. And I do have scientists working on that, by the way.
That's good.
Now, the important thing to understand about ponynomics is that once we have universal pony ownership, then we shall have equity in the ponies that we own. Mm-hmm. Now, once you have equity in something, then you can borrow against it. Right. And once we start borrowing against our pony equity, well, then we can establish an entire new unforeseen debt class, a class of debt, because as you know, debt is a very important part of the economy. It essentially runs the economy. The banks are owning your debt. They're selling your debt. They're loaning you money so you can owe them money. You owe the government money. Government owes trillions and zillions. I mean, it's just crazy how much a part of debt is of the economy. So We're going to create a class of pony-based debt. And once we do that, then we can start bringing in all the highly educated Yaleys and Harvard alums who will be able to create all sorts of exotic, crazy financial instruments that have never existed before, AAA pony default swaps, and all sorts of crazy stuff. And what we're going to be trying to do is essentially create a bubble in the economy. And because, as you know, a bubble is an amazing thing to have in your economy because it means that everything's firing on all cylinders. Everybody's making money. Wall Street's doing well. But this particular pony bubble is going to be a little bit different because it is going to be steel-belted, reinforced, and last forever.
Wow.
Thank you.
Impressive. Now, one of my concerns is if we have this pony-based economy and we have people with Clydesdale horses. Are they the upper 1% because they have this gigantic pony at their disposal?
Well, horses aren't really ponies. I mean, they're separate things, number one. But of course, number two.
Sure, but it's like the diamonds of money.
Well, yeah, but small is nicer. I mean, I think in some, a bonsai tree, for example, is worth much more than a full-grown tree in a lot of ways.
Sure.
So I think people have an appreciation. Clydesdales, they will probably not even exist after a while because they will be being bred to be smaller.
Right. That makes sense.
Now, a fun fact is that a pony, pound per pound, actually has more strength than a Clydesdale. And that's just a fact. You can look that up. I'm not making that up. I make up a lot of stuff, but I'm not making that up.
I will just believe you based on all the evidence that I've heard. So ponies, where do these ponies come from?
Well, interestingly enough, that's a question I get a lot. And it's a question, Vermin, where are we going to get these ponies? Where do these free ponies come from? Who's going to pay for these free ponies? Do I have to pay more in taxes for these free ponies?
Right.
And once again, I believe that just simply shows a misunderstanding of ponynomics, because it's very, very simple. When a boy pony meets a girl pony, mm-hmm. and they like each other, and especially if the girl pony is in heat, in estrus, if you will,
sure.
They might want to get together and know each other a little bit better. And so they'll maybe go to a corner of the paddock, or maybe not, they're not shy. And, the female pony will present her haunches, her hindquarters, if you will. And then the boy pony will become very excited. And I don't know, have you ever seen a pony dick before, a pony cock?
Yeah.
Anyway, when they get excited, they're like this big thing that comes out of its sheath. Mm-hmm. And it's a big pony boner, if you will. Pony and sword. Then the boy pony will mount the girl pony with give it a big old pony hug with its pony hooves, and then start intercourse will occur. The big pony dick will enter the girl pony's vagina, and they'll go at it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden there's this this flashing that occurs where the boy pony penis sort of like a dinner plate almost. I hear that's what killed Catherine the Great, from what I hear. But that's an aside. And then it ejaculates with gallons of pony sperm up on into that swims up into the pony uterus, and it fertilizes the pony egg and sperm and pony embryo and cell division, and then 11 months later, a free pony enters the world.
Wow.
True.
It's kind of like printing free money,
pretty much,
with a couple extra steps.
Yeah, just a few, but once the ball gets rolling, so to speak, there's no stopping it.
That's
and
right.
Of course, the transition times will be somewhat frightening. That's true. Mm-hmm. There will be perhaps conversion kits for your current pets, for example. Of course, there will be a forced pony breeding program. I believe that clonies will become a feature, or pony clonies, if you will, and we'll be inserting pony embryos into cow wombs across the nation, and maybe even human uteruses also, but the science just isn't there yet. Lab unicorns or lab, they're just not ready yet. So we're working on it. We have a lot of good science going on it. I also have scientists working on an exciting new chemtrail formula that is prismatic and will make beautiful rainbows across the sky. So that's going to be really nice. We're
amazing.
Injecting happy mood elevating chemicals that we're going to add to the nation's water supply through using multi-flavored, vitamin fortified, and fluoride enhanced fracking fluid. That'll be great. It'll still catch on fire because
good.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the best
that's
part.
Essential.
Of it. And I mean, this is America. I believe that we can afford lead for all of the drinking water, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
And and I also have people working on a new formula for jet fuel that will actually melt steel beams. So there's a lot going on in here.
That's going to come in handy. That's going to come in real handy.
There's the metric time. I have a push on going for metric time. It's pretty simple. It'll make things much more efficient. It goes like 10 seconds to the minute, 10 minutes to the hour, 10 hours to the day, 10 days to the week, 10 weeks to the month, 10 months to the year, decades. They're already taken care of. So it'll be a very exciting way to live our lives in the future. Metric time. Thank you.
Your math sounds very sound. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, another one of your points that I saw on your website that I haven't heard you talk much about is these concentration camps. Can you dig into that a little bit?
Oh, yes. Well, Vermin Supreme concentration camps, trademark, copyright, all that good stuff. It's going to be the most fun centration that you've ever had. There's going to be ponies. We are going to have water slides. There's going to be like a snack bar. We're going to have like furries, because of course we'll be imprisoning furries along with the migrants and any other political undesirables. So the furries are like ready made. They're not even going to cost any extra, because they come right along with the kit and caboodle of undesirable despicables and douchebags. So it's going to be a lot of fun for the whole family. Unless we've separated your family, of course, then it'll be fun for the whole family in different locations, but still fun. Lots going on there. Concentration camps for everyone.
I like it.
The secret dental police will be assuring dental compliance.
Very nice.
The zombies will be producing the power. The ponies will be producing the methane. For sure. It's very good. Nothing can go wrong, quite frankly, as they say at Westworld.
Absolutely. So some of your policies seem to be at odds with some of the libertarian, talk points, like the mandatory toothbrushing and even these concentration camps. How are you going to fund your concentration camps? Will taxation be going towards these concentration camps?
Well, taxation is death. Now, I know there's that other taxation is theft, but I believe that taxation can be death, like what all the kids are saying, like definitely something or other. And I think essentially what we need to do is give away more lottery tickets. People like to play the lottery. It becomes more voluntary. And if you're paying into the taxes, you're just going to get a lot more lottery tickets. And, you could be America's next millionaire simply by paying your taxes.
Huh.
So there is that. And yes, there is that dichotomy once again, and I think you're falling into the trap once again of trying to put a framework of reality on what I'm presenting. I mean,
not entirely, but yeah, go on.
I mean, the Venn diagram goes something like this: this is Vermin's imaginary world of make believe and presentation,
right?
And this is reality. They do overlap and are overlapping more and more all the time. But the important thing to keep in mind, of course, is that for the purposes of me seeking the Libertarian Party nomination, it requires a delicate balancing act, if you will.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's like a Schrodinger's box. I mean, are you getting a pony? Is it a live pony? Is it a dead pony? I don't know. You don't know until you look into the box. Mm-hmm. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it actual? But once again, of course, as someone seeking the nomination for the Libertarian Party, I have also pledged to, make the Libertarian Party platform, which I enjoy so much, part of my platform. And I believe that I am perfectly poised to, in addition to the ponies and zombies and shit. But I believe that, I'm in a pretty good position as an educator, as a college speaking guy, as a person who has made educational PSAs and the sort. I believe that we can harness my character and my universe and talking points to illustrate, these party planks and these ideas and libertarian ideals and try and explain them to the public. I also believe that, libertarians have a rather large public relations problem, if you will.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people don't have a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings towards libertarians. There's accusations of selfishness. I got mine, you got you all that stuff.
Right.
But it's contrary to a large part of my experience, and I believe that with the audience that I have, especially since it straddles both left and right, that I could be a pretty darn good spokesperson in getting the idea out and presenting it to the media. If you watch any of my interviews, if you will, that go on for any length of time, this one even, it's a pretty strong mix of the humor and the entertainment, but also serious in reality, and that's a certain fluidity and a certain flow and flexibility that I have with my character, or my not being a character, and just me being me. I can possess different ideas. I can be for and against something within a few moments.
Yeah. So to think this out to conclusion, like big hypothetical, speaking only to the reality side of Vermin's brain.
Okay.
Like hypothetically, if you were elected, like if things went crazy and you got elected as president, how do you run the country at this point, or what do you do? Because nobody thought Donald Trump would get there either.
That's true, but I don't think we're there yet. I don't think the party's there yet. I just don't. I think 5% would be lucky. Anything else, you're just going to have to read my book, I Pony: Blueprint for a New America. That plug. Is a vision of my a time in the future, long after my presidency, after everybody has their pony, after zombie power fuels the nation, after secret dental police have set up checkpoints. It's a warning from the people of the future to you, the people of their past, your present, that Vermin Supreme is a madman and must be stopped.
Nice.
Well, there, it's in the book. I could tell you all about it.
So you know how this plays out if you have contact with people from the future. You know what's going to happen, right?
All right. There were harsh political realities when President for Life Vermin I took office. At the time of his ascent to the White House, there were over 300 million Americans in America's previous borders. At the time, there were only 200,000 ponies in the whole country. It was a recipe for civil unrest. And friends, those were not just political realities, those were realities. There was a very stark choice to be made on the table. Would it be the mass execution of some 700,000 plus Americans in order to achieve proper pony human parity, or something else? His misspoken claim during his inauguration to faithfully execute the American people was sounding absolutely visionary. It is certainly true that such a mass execution would create jobs. It would also lessen the country's dependence on foreign oil. It would be good for the environment. Although there were some drawbacks to consider, mostly they were just merely questions of ethics and public relations. During this time of widespread civil unrest, all options were on the table. The Dental High Command was put on high alert. The dental re-education camps were readied. Homeland Dental Security coordinated with the nation's dental police department. The militarization of America's dental police forces had been a great idea that it was about to pay off in lower incidences of gum disease nationwide. There were riots in the streets of numerous cities. Pulsating water cannons knocked rioters off their feet and knocked the plaque right off of their teeth. The population was demanding their ponies that were nowhere in sight. It was a time of heightened international tensions. No one would have blamed Tyrant Supreme if he had ordered the National Dental Guard to carry out a full-scale massacre of the civilian population. It was high time, actually. The veneer of civility that had protected Americans from such real political unrest for quite some time was wearing thin. The quaint and oft-repeated notion that it can't happen here was truly just a lack of imagination. All right, that was a bit from my new book. Thank you.
I love it. And I don't know if you're a fan of Andy Kaufman, but as a fan, I would have let you read the entire book if you just felt like continuing the entire time, just for the absurd nature of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to picking up a copy of the book. I think it sounds fantastic, and keeping an eye on what you got going on. I do want to do some bonus content for our patrons if you are willing to stick around for a little bit longer. But
I suppose that I could. Also, be sure to watch the documentary "Who is Vermin Supreme?"
Yes.
It is available on the internet on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
It's a very good overview of all the things that I do, including my street activism and cop wrangling and all that bullshit.
Yep. And I actually just watched it yesterday and today, and I highly recommend it. I think it's a fantastic documentary. I encourage everybody to go check it out. But Vermin, let everybody know where they can find out all the information about you, your campaign, your book, everything you got going on, man.
All right. Well, you can pretty much access it all about now at verminsupreme2020.com. We have the book is available through our merch store. It has lists of all the various platforms that are now being written by committee. It's great having an actual campaign staff. They do things for me. I barely have to do anything anymore. verminsupreme2020.com. If you're interested in becoming a delegate for me, or I know we have uncommitted delegates, but if you might be leaning towards me, reach out to us. I hope to get 100 tokens at least to get up on the debate stage, if not take the whole darn ball of wax. If you are interested in coordinating in your state as a state coordinator, this is a real campaign. It's more real than it's ever been. And I think we need to really reach out to the people. And what else is there? It's all good. It's all through that one website. I think that's the portal. Cool. At Vermin Supreme is on Twitter. At For Vermin is on Twitter. Let's see, on Facebook, I've got my homepage called Vermin Supreme. There's Vermin Supreme for President, the blue check.
They could probably find you. There's probably not too many other people with the same name.
You would be surprised how many hundreds of people use my name. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I think I'm okay with that. I do have a service trademark on it nonetheless. However,
nice.
But anyway, thank you very much. All you fine viewers out there, together we will ride our ponies into a zombie-powered future. Vote for Vermin Supreme, the candidate of no hope, no change, and bitter disappointment.
Beautiful.
Good night.
Vermin, would you like to sing us out before we go?
My name is Vermin. I like a pony. And if you don't like it, well, then you can blow me. I have a pony. I braid her mane. I can't complain. The way that pony makes me feel, it really drives me insane. I have a pony. I like to ride her hard. I ride my pony all around the yard. Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather up his ass and called it crackaroni. I have a pony. My pony likes to buck. Me and the pony, we really like to ride around the town, ride around the town, ride around the town. Thank you.
It's classic. Well, Vermin, thank you so much for being here, and we'll chat a little bit more for the patrons, but you're welcome anytime you want, and I look forward to keeping an eye on your campaign as it moves on.
Thank you very much, Dan. Have a great night.
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end. I know that you enjoyed my conversation with Vermin Supreme because it's Vermin Supreme. I mean, what's not to love? Like I said, he's basically the Andy Kaufman or the Bill Murray of politics. And what's not to love about that? This is the show where we look behind the curtains of the systems, the sacred cows, and make fun of everything. And Vermin Supreme is the perfect person to have on to chat about those such things. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. And I also enjoyed the extended interview that I did even more. If you want access to the extended interview and all of our backlog of wildly crazy and often offensive bonus audio and video content every single week, you can get it by going to patreon.com/The System Is Down and signing up for the Downers Club. The Downers Club is what makes this show as great as it is. A lot of fun people there. It's a nice, tight little knit family that we have in the Downers Club. It gets you access to our exclusive Facebook group as well for Downers Club members, and gets you a shout out on the show and all sorts of fun things in addition to obviously the bonus content. So patreon.com/the system is down. Go give it a shot and let me know what you think. If you hate it, you can go on your merry way, because this was not made for you anyway, obviously. And if it's not made for you, then keep your money. I don't want it. But if you like it, throw some dollars at it. As Vermin Supreme says in the bonus episode, show me how much you love me, quantify it in dollar amounts, and throw them at my face. All right. What else? I'm working on a documentary. It is about the moon landing, why certain people still believe that the moon landings were fake, and why other people think that those people are retarded and they're willing to scream at them whether they have any information or not. It's going to be a fun one, and it is a slow, arduous, long process that I'm working on, but I'm working on it to make it as good as it possibly can be. But you can still support the documentary. You can get your name in the credits, and you can get all sorts of fun stuff. You can pre-order your copy at moonmythlegend.com. The documentary is The Moon, the Myth, the Legend, Lunar Lore for Humble Dummies. You can watch the trailer. You can look at the artwork. You can do all the fun things there at moonmythlegend.com. Also, be sure to tune in every single Friday for our second show that we do weekly with QAnon Chronicles with Scott McElroy, where Scott looks at things in the news, things in current events, stuff like that. All the strange things that are going on in the world, and he looks at it from the through the Q lens, Q perspective, and just breaks it all down for you. So check that out, QAnonChronicles.com, or wherever you are listening to this right now. You can also join the System is Down forum for absolutely free, where a bunch of weirdos such as myself and others, I'm going to have to go throw Vermin in there. Most of my guests end up in the forum. I throw them in without their permission or consent. But if you want to talk to other strange people like us, you can do so in the forum. You just go over to Facebook. We're still there currently until we get kicked out. We've gotten a couple threats, so who knows what will happen. But for now, you can join by going to Facebook and typing in The System is Down Forum, asking to join, and I will let you in if you look like a human who is weird enough. The only rule is don't be a dick. We talk about all the weird things in the world, conspiracies, politics, and religion, all the things that are happening. We have some fun, and we do it in a civil manner. We talk about these controversial topics, but we are nicer than the rest of Facebook. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. Facebook.com/the system, not / the system is down. Just type in the system is down, or go to tsidpod.com/forum. Also, go like, share, and subscribe. Let's beat these stupid algorithms that continue to squash everything and everyone that is interesting down and down and down in the nether regions of their communities on YouTubes, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Minds, your Gebs, your huge tubes, your Instagrams. Just click buttons. That's all I'm asking you to do. You don't got to pay dollars if you don't want to, but click buttons at least. That will help us. That will help us beat the robot overlords of YouTube, especially because they don't like this type of thing. I imagine they're not a big fan of Vermin Supreme either, but they definitely don't like the conspiracy stuff. They don't like things that aren't funny kitten videos or CNN articles of outrage. They just they don't like it, and I don't understand why, because we're here to just explore the world together and do so in a civil manner. So go like, share, and subscribe to all the things that the little kids do on the internets, and I will love you forever. Also, go out and talk to somebody this week. Have a civil conversation with them. Let's change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time by being humble, by being open-minded, by knowing what we believe and why we believe it, but listening to other people as they do the same, because they might know more than you. They might not, but they might. They might. They just might. So, if you saw somebody on the street like a Vermin Supreme, you'd be like, that guy's a fucking psychopath. There's no way that I'm going to listen to what that guy has to say. You'd be wrong, because he has a lot of great things to say. And he's a very intelligent person who walks around carrying a giant toothbrush with a boot on his head. So don't judge people by their looks and their appearances. Judge them by their words and their character after you get to know them and have a conversation with them. And be civil humans together. That's it. That's my soapbox for today. Again, there's more fun Vermin Supreme in the Downers Club at Patreon, so go check that out. But next week, I don't know what's happening yet. I'm pre-recording this interview intro and outro much in advance, just because I was on a roll. And I like to get things done ahead of time, so I don't know what's coming up the week after this comes out, but something's good's gonna happen. I guarantee it. So if you'll have me, of course I will be right back here in your tiny little ear canals, like a toothbrush that Vermin Supreme has forced in there to clean out your brain. Until then, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you guys and love you very much, but yeah, next time, question everything, stay uncomfortable. I'll talk to you then. Take care. Bye.
This has been a Goulash Media production. goulashmedia.net.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.